Welcome everyone to the Good Morning Education Show, and such a pleasure to be here as well. Again, my name is Ruth Meta, and it's a pleasure to be here on the Good Morning Education Show. And we'll be having a great time this morning. And this time around, we'll be having an interesting topic for us to consider on the show. On the show today, we will be talking about On the show today, we'll be talking about consistency in excellence. And I believe that's something that you would really want to be a part of, because consistency in excellence is something that affects everyone, you know. And I think that you should be a part of it. That's what I think. So, and on this Good Morning Education Show, we're always here Mondays to Fridays, 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. Nigerian time, West African time. We also stream to you on the weekend special, and you could always catch us on the Good Morning Education Show. And I believe that's going to be a great time together. We welcome your comments and contributions. And if you are just joining from the first time, please do not hesitate to let us know. Um, let us know where you're streaming from, your location, and all those things. Yes, look forward to hearing from you as we take on the show today. The show will have our headline news first, and from our headline news, we'll move into the show proper. So please feel free to join us on the show this morning as we tackle issues within and around the world of education. The very first headline that we'll be talking about today is on a very good note, and this headline has to do with it has a lot to do with Queen's College. So here it says FG comments Queen's College for promoting girl child education. Obviously, Queen's College is a female school, and the federal government is commending Queen's College for promoting girl child education, and that's a good one. But we know that the narrative within the African space, especially Nigeria, um, has been to try to reverse consciousness of people's perspective about the girl child education. And this is something that has been championed from time to time. All right, so let's move to the next headline. And the next headline says Reps probe paper leakages, cancellation of exams or examination by WAEC. You know, and if you've ever heard me say this, I've always been one who asks certain questions. Sometimes when we hear the issue of results leakage or exam paper leakage, we hear the result of missing result. We hear about missing results and a lot of things. You know, I feel that it's not out of place for us to understand that a body like WAEC needs to be audited. And if a probe is what will give birth to that audit, I don't think it's out of place. So I think that this is very much in line and very much in place. So well done to the reps. And we hope that this is not just a mere witch hunting exercise, that it's actually a reformation, as it were. So let's move to the next headline. The next headline here is talking about NAS, Nigerian Association of the National Association of Nigerian Students. It says non-stakeholders fault ASU on strike threatens mobilization against varsity lecturers. Well, when the chicken comes to roast, that's the situation we're having. Well, it seems like you know everything is just going in a direction that is not palatable. And now the students are saying that look, our lives are involved, our lives are at stake. We need to do something about this. All right. So now we have another headline, and this time around it says Olitamefa Baptist School emerges winner of Winnie Alfred Awoshika Foundation School Challenge. So that's a good one where we have Olita a Baptist school, emerging winners. Sometimes it's contests like this, interventions like this, challenges like this that actually opens up some brands that you never knew of. Some brands you never expected, to go that far. I think that that's a very good one to welcome development, I must say, you know. So we should always be mindful of that fact. Always be mindful of that fact. You know. And so that's how it's meant to be. Right? Okay, so we have another headline, and this time around, this headline is on the university. University administrators call for collaboration among institutions to tackle their challenges, you know, to tackle their challenges. I love that. I love that. Because the truth of the matter is that we cannot we cannot keep on having institutions. We can't keep having, you know, uh, I don't want to use the word failed institution because some of the things that are happening in this part of the world is is really worrisome because here you have several universities having several challenges. Sometimes, being able to just step up with infrastructure on a joint scale in a level of collaboration can make things better, can make things happen, and that's really what we want to ensure, that it's in place. So well done for that move. Well done. Well done. Let's have another headline. This one's talking about protect girl child from violent attacks. It's protect girl child from violent attack. Well, this is what I have to say. You cannot have too much advocacy, especially when it comes to the child protection and especially the vulnerable ones, the girls in particular. So we need to have that happen. So well done to stakeholders who are saying that we need to protect the girl child, you know, especially from the Delta State Director of Afro Center for Development. Very, 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 very good. And then we'll take two more and then we'll go to our conversation for the day. So two more headlines. Let's have one coming all the way from the north. That's from Kaduna. Now we have Kaduna State honoring Kaduna Yes, sorry about that. So it says Kaduna State honors Senator Laha for his outstanding contribution to education, and that's a very good one. When the state's honoring one of its own, it's very, very good to see that there are people who deliberately, at their position of privilege and authority, who are actually blazing the trail. Thank you very much. Welcome, Olushola Olumide, to the show.
Good morning, Rotimi. Good morning to our tribe members out there. Nice to be here once again. Yes, uh, good morning once again to our tribe members out there. And it's nice to be here once again on the Good Morning Education show. The headline I'm seeing there is saying students honor Senator La for his outstanding contribution to education. That is in the Daily Post. I think is a step in the right direction, irrespective of the magnitude of his contribution. I think he has played a part of some sort and will have helped to lift one or two people out of where they are, either providing infrastructure, either providing fund, or even making policy that are favorable to education. So I think it's good. It's not just enough to call out people when they do wrong. It is equally good to celebrate those who do right. I think it goes a long way. It encourages them to do more. And of course, it also encourages others to see the need to do good. That's what I want to say about that.
Thank you very much. And we have another headline that says Lagos to revamp, digitalize over 700 libraries from Punch newspaper. Over to you.
Great project. However, there are two sides to the continuum, the beginning and the other end. It's good to digitalize library and 700 for that matter. That's a great project. However, are there people to access those libraries? Are the people willing to access the libraries? Also, do the people have what it takes to access the library? Now, the normal library that we used to know, uh, you go there to read, you see the serenity. At times, you are able to get one of books out while you read. But that culture is being eroded almost every day. Do people even go to library again? The students who are in school, they have their library, secondary school, they go there to read. For those in our institution, they also have library where they go to read, except when they're on holiday or when there is strike, like as we have it now. But the serenity, is still there? Can the can they access books in the library? That is about the normal conventional library. Now, when we talk about digitalized library, I hope they are going to make it so easy to afford or to access. Maybe something like you don't really need data to access the library and all that. But if you are going to talk about having data to access the e-library, now, will everybody have the wherewithal to get the data? So it's good, it's digitalized, and the world over is becoming like that, where you can access library in MIT, in Oxford, in Cambridge, and whatever. Great, great resources are there. They are good. With your password, you're able to log in and all that. But it doesn't come free too. You have your data to use, you have your time, is your phone charge, your laptop charge, electricity is one thing, having data is another. So these are many issues the government need to consider as they go about doing all these things. Thank you.
All right. You mentioned key points, that mustn't be taken for granted. But beyond that, also, I think that it's always this challenge for politicians, government, to always weigh their intervention from the visible side and the form, the kind of form. Because the question now is this: what exactly are libraries in today's context for our own social reality? Um, I would say that it's not just a collage or a place where you have books or a place where things are just digitized. Because if you have monuments that are digitized, I don't think that you will still see people, you know, um, going into that place as it were. I don't know whether you get what I'm trying to say. Hello?
Yes, I understand you very well, Rotimi. Just
Because they
about the
say they
same
are
thing.
revamping and digitalizing it. So meaning that you won't just have old books and all that, but there you can now plug into, and that means they would even provide their data, hopefully, or their power that
Yes.
makes sure yeah. But the thing is, you would regularly not see a surge because of this, because
Mm.
most people are actually learning conscious fatigue, they are learning fatigue, they are reading fatigue. So I think that if we're revamping places, I think it should be more of places where people can either converge to work and experience a library experience there, or
Mm.
something that promotes the consciousness of lifestyle,
Mm.
home, enterprise, that can now cause people to benefit or leverage.
But
So
you
I
are
think
right.
in the revamp, you want something that you'll be shocked. You'll be shocked that you have a place and maybe it's a co-working space, but then it's a library that has been designed to have a co-working space. By default, the people who work there, entrepreneurs who work there, they can now take advantage of that library, and that will now push optimal use, because they will now also refer to other people. Fantastic, beyond having the library, there's actually a workstation here. And people that don't have the ability to pay for a standalone apartment for their offices can actually go on a flexible so the world has changed actually.
Yes, in fact, thank God you mentioned that workspace. That was what came to my mind, a shared workspace. And at times when you see people gravitating towards a place and it is called library, whether they are going there to eat or to read or to sleep, do it helps ginger other people. People are going there, let me also go. Some will go there, do their work. Some will go there, go and read. And of course, entrepreneur can even stay there and do research. Great, great idea.
Exactly.
Great thing you said.
All
Yes.
this, all,
Thank you.
yeah, all the projects and all of that. There are many things that we can also have, but we will not say it, so that if they need us, they can consult us and we can tell them what to do.
Yes.
Yes. So, if you're just joining us, welcome to the Good Morning Education Show. I'm here with Olushola Olumide. Obviously, probably we'll have others join us. But then we're talking about something today. We are through with the headlines, and we are coming to the conversation of the day, right? Consistency in excellence. Consistency in excellence. I know that there are two important words that will affect everyone's career, everyone's life, everyone's business, everyone's profession, everyone's output: consistency and excellence. I'd like to hear your thoughts as an introduction of Olushola Olumide on this topic: consistency in excellence.
Thank you. As we are talking, what came to mind? I think this topic should be pasted everywhere for people who are starting out to do anything. If you are not going to be consistent in excellence, there is no point pursuing excellence. In fact, the inability to be consistent in excellence is counterproductive. That person becomes a monument. If you you know, some people, it is said that some people are dead while they are alive. Why there are people that are being immortalized and their work speaks on even when they are dead. And that person becomes a relic. You are like he used to. It's like that person has trended before, but it's no longer trending. In fact, in the final analysis, that person or the organization or the institution or the group may get worse description at the end, that it were better they never achieve excellence than achieve excellence and they fell off, or they couldn't sustain it, or they are not consistent in that excellence. And fine, everyone, organization, institution have a life cycle, and that's why the issue of having to keep abreast with happening, trying to move with trend, you don't want to be left behind. So for everyone, and it is usually said that it's easier to achieve success than sustain it. So I will say, by way of introduction, that if you think of excelling, you had better also budget the T fare of consistency, because there are competitors. There are people who are ready to displace you in the twinkling of an eye. And the only thing that will keep your customer coming, that will keep you trending, that will make you sought after, or that will sort of keep you at the peak, is to be consistent in excellence. That's what I want to say. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And of course, while you were speaking, KK joined us. Good morning, KK. How are you today?
Very good, very good. Good morning. Good morning, Mr. Olushola.
Happy new month to KK. Yes.
All right. So we're speaking on consistency in excellence, and I love the fact that you were able to, mention to everyone that it's one thing to actually achieve excellence and success, but it's another thing to sustain it. Now, when we look at the word consistency, it would be nice to make people who are listening out there to actually understand and fully embrace what consistency means. And I know that sometimes to better know what consistency is, or to better know what something is, it will be good to start from what it is not. And so I'd like to ask KK, how would you help us better understand the concept, the word consistency, right? Over to you, KK.
I mean, just like I came in when Mr. Olushola was speaking about budgeting consistency if you're doing anything. And for me, that just kind of answers the question. If you're doing anything, you need to say to yourself, how often am I going to do this? How committed to this thing am I? And that then drives your consistency. So just straight to your question, what is consistency? Consistency is doing something over and over and over again, sticking with it for as many times as you need to stick with it, for as long as you need to stick with it. If it requires you, if there's a project you're on and it requires you making certain number of phone calls at certain times of day, then you have to budget it, like Mr. Olushola said, write it in the plan and stick with it and get it done. Because you're not getting it done sends a signal. And the signal it is sending, is that the signal you want it to send? So that's the question. Then what is consistency not? Consistency is definitely not giving up midway when you see it is not working. After doing it for 2 days, you're like, this thing is not working. I beg, let me try something else. That's not consistency. Consistency is not complaining every single step of the way. Again, when maybe things are not going the way you want it to go. No, that's not consistency, because that will suck out the energy out of you. And we all know, or we should know, that energy is action. So if you have the wrong energy, you probably would have the wrong actions. And if you have the right energy around you, then that would spur you onto the right action. So that's what consistency is not. Consistency is also not trying to find ways to cut corners. That's not consistency, you know. So consistency generally aligns very strongly with your goals. What are my goals? And how can I ensure that these goals are met? When you think about, that's how I think about consistency, for example. So I have on my social media, I know that I cannot post every single day. It's impossible, right? So I have an app that I use, and I just simply connect it, and whatever it is that I just sit down, plan my dates, and live it. So I automated my consistency. Does it mean that I didn't take the time to do it? I did, but I realized that, oh, you know what? I need to do these things smartly, because I can't sit down every day and I'm typing and posting. It's just not possible. So I automated that part of myself. But at the end of the day, looking around you and saying, what can I use to meet these goals? Like Olushola said again, budgeting what you need to make it happen into your implementation plan is what makes those things happen, to be honest. And not just even the people, not just even the actions, even the people you need to make it happen. Because guess what? Sometimes having accountability partners helps in helping you stay the path of consistency. So yeah, so that is what consistency means to me, and also what it is not.
Very powerful. And in the words of someone that Olushola and I know, say super. Anyways,
Rotimi, don't breathe out this morning. Please.
So, I love the fact that Kiki mentioned something that, and I think it shouldn't be just left that way. She said sometimes you have to automate your consistency, looking at it from the angle of social media that she mentioned. Now let's bring this to the entire context of everything that we do. So Kiki, could you just still permit me to bring it back to you? Just open our eyes more to the fact that automation, is almost like saying that because you recognize that you have to stick with it, you probably need to enable yourself sticking to it. So I want you to talk a bit more on how do we get to automate our consistency. Now, not just talking about using tech tools for social media, but the entire concept of it.
Yeah, thanks, Rotimi. I mean, just to look at your topic, right? The topic for today says consistency in excellence. The reality is that there are a lot of tools out there that help us be more excellent, simply because they're tools, right? They're technology. I mean, if I sit down and have to design something by myself, again, just to piggy off what I said concerning social media, if I have to design something by myself, I sit down and draw it, I sit down and begin to use my AutoCAD or Photoshop and all of that. It's so difficult. It will take me such a long time, and I might not be 100% happy with the result. So I will tweak and tweak and tweak. And what would happen is that I would get to that place of excellence. But guess what? It will take me a longer time. But there are people who might be waiting for it, because the reality is, for some people, excellence is time bound. So if your excellence comes slower than the expectation of your excellence, then sometimes you've already lost your crowd simply because you were a little slow in getting it done. So what I do for it, what I just to go back in that consistency in excellence again, is to say to myself, okay, you know what are the tools out there that I can use that have already been put in place? Where are the tires that I can just put onto my car without necessarily having to reinvent the entire concept of the tire? So I look around me and say, and that, for example, is working smart. It's understanding what are the things that I even need to do. What are the things that need to get done? And once I understand that and know what I want to get done, I can look around me and say, what can I use to help me become more consistent, to help me become more excellent? And in just doing that, I can find a template that works for me, right? And all I need to do is tweak it, add my own words, maybe add a picture, add a quote that I may have designed, and then tweak it onto a place where I can use. But you need to, first of all, even know. So the thing with technology is like garbage in, garbage out. So you need to already have a process. You already need to have a plan that is taking you towards a certain area. Once you have that in place, it is then easier to find the things that help you become more consistent. So the first thing is have a plan. What is this thing that I want to do? I want to make sure that I post every 2 days, every 3 days, every day on social media. Okay, great. Instagram, WhatsApp, whatever it is that you want to do. Okay, great. That's my plan. Twitter. Then what are those things that I need to make it happen? I need to have a certain time of day. I need to create the content. But it starts with what? Knowing my goal. When I know my goal, and that's my goal, right? Then what are the things I need to do? It's almost like your vision, and then the mission statements that need to make that vision happen. So when I then have that overarching goal, I then look around and say, what are the plannings? What are the different things I need to put in place? In putting those things in place, how do I then make this happen? So these are the things I need to do. What are the specific action steps that I need to then take to make these mission and statements happen? And in doing that, sometimes it's not just technology. There's so many other things that we can use, but technology is one of those. So, that's how I would say that we can go ahead and use automation for our own good. I mean, what supports what you are doing? When you find what can support what you're doing, and you weigh the pros and cons of it, then you either say yes to it or you say no to it. But at the end of the day, it needs to really align with that vision of excellence that you see. I hope
Fantastic, fantastic. And in another way, I'll say again, super. Now, I'm going to take that to Olushola Olumide, and the angle I'm going to direct this to him would be, now, knowing fully well that it's good that it's not just technology, but I want Olushola to talk a bit about friendship and association, how that could also help automating and also enhancing our consistency, but not just consistency, our consistency in excellence.
Thank you very much. You know, KK has dropped a lot of heavy load this morning, which I think will aid anybody anywhere. Now, no one is an island. Like I used to say, if you want to go fast, go alone. But if you want to go far, go with others. In fact, the support system, whether human or non-human, aids your excellence and aids your consistency in excellence. Support or relationship can never be overemphasized, because no one knows it all. But when we come together, the synergy strengthens everybody. In fact, the stronger are able to bear the weak. And to the onlooker, they may not necessarily see who is weak, because we are working together. We may not even see everybody. Some may be behind the scene. And at times you have the tool of technology. At times you have the tool of humans. They are working behind the scene. They are making things work. Somebody in charge of this, somebody in charge of that. You have deadlines to meet, and not just one. So when you have relationship, you know, relationship goes a long way. It's like a springboard for you to move on. Somebody is there to succor you when you are weak or you are down. When it appears you cannot really go on, somebody's idea can ginger the success of that project. So I will say, in order to be consistent, you need other people. It goes a long way. And when it comes to excellence, you know, as KK was talking, I was ruminating on this Nash Geo World. I was trying to look at the strength of each of the animals. When you see a cheetah can run, is the fastest land animal. But if a cheetah does not meet up with its prey in 3 minutes, the cheetah gets exhausted and it backs down. Now, when you look at African wild dog, those animals can run for 5 kilometers in a stretch. They may not be as fast as a cheetah, but they go steadily, consistently. What they do in bringing down their prey is to wear down that prey. Continue running, they are following you until you have no strength to run again. So it's not enough to do an 100 meters dash. Let's see consistency as a marathon. Yes. So why you need other people is that your strength may be able to carry you further than it will carry me. But when you see that I'm slowing down, you're able to hold my hand and say, oh, let's go. We can make it together. So we must not play less on relationship. In fact, you may even have what it takes to be excellent. Nobody may know you. It may be a relationship that brings you to the limelight. People see and say, oh, you're a great achiever. That is lovely. That is great. I tell you, if somebody didn't give you that platform, people will not even know you have what it takes to get that thing delivered. And it's not because you don't know what to do, but when you don't even know opportunity abounds, how do you even get to the opportunity? So I will say we must not play less on relationship. We must value relationship. We must see relationship as a sort of support that cheer us on, that strengthens us, that energizes us. If other people are going, KK mentioned accountability partner. If I see other team member moving on, why don't I? Then I'm able to be vulnerable with my team member, at the same time authentic. I'm getting weary. I'm getting tired. I don't even know what to do next. Oh, somebody say, oh, okay, bring it on. Why not try this? Why not try that? And before you know it, I keep moving. So relationship, as important as excellence is, I tell you, relationship is very, very important. And if ever we are going to be consistent, we need other people. Thank you very much.
I love it. I love it. Thank you so much for that, Olushola.
Thank you, ma'am. Hello, Rotimi, are you there? Okay, maybe KK, yes, KK can continue. Thank you.
Thanks. I mean, what you were saying is so important, Olushola. People really they're important, right? Because we kind of feed off that energy, to be honest. And I was just posting something on my stories about it. And so when you were speaking, I stopped and I'm like, is he in my head? Literally, Olushola, that's what I was posting.
That's serious.
I'm telling you, who is your energy? Because our energy, right, is on the inside, but it's also on the outside. So the one on the inside sometimes needs to feed off the one on the outside. So if it is not enough to carry you, it's so difficult because those on the outside just kind of suck out that energy, and even keep striving towards excellence is tough. And let me give an example. So we're having a staff training on Tuesday for my team, and so we're talking about how the team is really important, and sometimes a team member might not be where they need to go, but then the other team members can find a way to make that team member get to where they need to go. And somebody asked the question, I said, okay, how about if people then begin to look at you and say, why are you carrying it on government work? It's my work. Why are you trying to make your own, why are you trying to make yourself look good? Because you are coming in and you're just doing all of these things for us. No, you can't do that. Stay on your own. Let me do what I can do. And she said, okay, so how about if your team members feel that way? Meanwhile, you are trying your best to just carry that team to that goalpost. And I said, well, first of all, how are you doing it? Right? What's your purpose for doing it? I said, the first day my husband met me was on the day he proposed. So there is a process to doing things. And so if you forget the process to doing things, all you're going to be looking at is the goal. And sometimes that entire experience matters, right? So who are the people around you? What are the experiences that you're letting yourself get into? If those experiences are wrong and they do not drive the purpose for which it was even created in the first place, you're going to suck up all the energy. And guess what? You're not even going to be able to get to where you need to be. Talking about being consistent. So yes, people are extremely, extremely important. I said these things, I say it all the time. Change your swing, your circle, your triangle, whatever it is. Move people in and out, depending on what exactly it is you need per time. You are the most important in that equation. All those other people are either going to further your goal or they're going to kill it. to determine what exactly it is that you want to do, where you want to go, and who those people are that can take you there. So yeah, back to you, Mr. Anthony. Welcome back.
Oh, thank you, KK. Before Mr. Rotimi jump on the thing, I think I was disconnected a little when you were talking about a team member. You know, that is why everybody needs a sort of inner overhauling. Talking about team member, you know, support of other relationship. When you are achieving, and your team member are not jealous, are not planning to sabotage you, you are one of the luckiest people. Now, somebody is number one, and everybody is, I'm playing my role, you playing your role. Even though he's the arrowhead, is the number one, I count myself happy where I am, being part of his success story. There will be great achievement, and consistency will be loud. But when I begin to step back and say, what is he after? Is he the only one? If not, if we are not the one supporting him, and guess what? Take it or leave it. We will not all achieve on the same level. Some, they have the call of Moses. Some, they have the call of Aaron. Some have the call of Joshua. There are some people who have the call of Elijah, and some have the call of Elijah. All they need to do is to pour water in the hand of the man. You know, when people feel inferior, when there is inferiority complex, when people begin to think, is he the only one? Sincerely speaking, something is getting wrong emotionally. And when people are dissatisfied emotionally, one of the easiest thing that will happen, they begin to experience burnout. You know, the way we are wired as human, whatever affect our emotion, affect our feelings, it end up affecting the functionality of our brain. Because you are beginning to nurse something against him. Is he the only one? I will drop the ball. No matter the can. Yes, that man, you may drop the ball, but it will always be on the record you are the one that dropped the ball. People don't see it that way. They think they are trying to sabotage somebody, but they are sabotaging themselves. So, talking about relationship, when you're in a relationship that is not toxic, where people can achieve where they are, celebrate themselves, and celebrate you that you are ahead of them, I think it's a great relationship. Not people that are backbiting or gossiping at the back, and you know, from jealousy, they move to envy, and they're like, this man cannot just continue. Is he the only one? We in court that have been doing this and doing that. When it's your turn, you go there and do it. But when you are not the arrowhead now, support the man who's the arrowhead. Achieve at your level and let all our little success culminate into its own success. If we do our part, we'll bail him out of the headache of, you know, logistics and what have you. And that is why, for the people who are the arrowhead, who are the leader, they need to look back, be concerned about the emotional lead of your followers. It matters a lot, because when they are not emotionally satisfied, the fire begins to die out. Burnout will set in. Really, research has found out that burnout is not really about the load of work. Majorly, burnout stems out of lack of meeting our emotional need. That snowballs into the way we think and reason and feel. We are not achieved. We are not an achiever. We are not satisfied with what we are doing. We are not wanted. We are not needed. And before you know it, it begins to affect our load of work. We begin to drop the ball, and little by little, stress comes in. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. I don't know. I just need to just say this. There was something I wanted to say based on KK's comment. And I like the fact that she was able to also graphically paint it. You know, I wanted to throw a jab at KK and say that, yeah, of course, you know, the first day you met your husband was not the first day you proposed. That was kind of interesting. But then I need people to recognize that when we all pursue progress, which is actually what a lot of us consider as our plight, there's this stress in progress. It might not be familiar to a lot of people, but progress in itself has stress. There's a basic amount of stress in progress. There's a stretch in progress. progress, but the ultimate thing is for us to understand there's also sense in progress. And if I'm able to put together all the things that Keke has said, Olumide has said, it's important for people to have at the back of their mind the sense making part of progress, because then it helps you to cope with the stress, and it also helps you to understand the demand of the stretch, either to the one who is the one trying to be enabled or to the enablers, in particular. Excellence is very important. It's something that we must give credence to. It's something that we must build consistently on. In fact, true and ultimate excellence is that you are able to finish, not able to start, and that thing is very important. So a lot of us must tone down on on just the quest of optics. We must make sure that we balance it out with the state of being and totality of having a meaningful reality for ourselves. On that note, I really want to hear your parting shots and your last words on this content for today. I'll start with KK, then I'll go back to Olushola Olumide. So KK, over to you.
In terms of excellence, you need to be able to define what excellence means to you. When you define what excellence means to you, it becomes a picture. Your vision, right, is a picture of the future you want to see at that time. And you can have a vision in different ways. What is the excellence that you want to see? In what area are you in pursuit of this excellence? Write them down. Draw those pictures. When you finally get there, how would you feel? What will it look like, right? What would people say? How would you look? Draw all of these things and then say to yourself, what do I need to make it happen? Do a needs gap analysis, a skills gap analysis. Find out what exactly it is that you need to do to make it happen. Because sometimes people are not consistent because they don't want to be consistent. They're not consistent because they cannot be consistent. They just don't have what it takes. When you have decided what it is that you need to do, and you've done your skills gap analysis without honestly lying to yourself, what you would find is you would be able to then carry through on your promise to yourself. You'll be able to walk towards that vision that you have seen, that space of excellence that you wish to dominate. But first, it starts from you defining it. So define it. Be true to your vision. Be true to who you are. And then find what you need to stay consistent in it. Back to you, Mr. Rotimi. Thank you.
As she drops the mic, mom, that's very powerful. Olushola Olumide, over to you.
Thank you very much. We need to know, number one, excellence comes at a price. And it is often being said that success is more of knowing what it takes to achieve. Yes, you must be able, like KK said, when you define where you are headed and you do your need gap analysis, it will help you to overcome fatigue. It's like trying to build a tower. You have to sit down and count the costs. Of course, counting the cost is not to make you afraid of running back. Of course, mediocrity is also not a virtue. So, at all costs, you have to keep your gaze on excellence. So I will say, sit down, count the cost, and of course, seek out for enablers. Like Rotimi said, the relationship, those who can really be of help to you. And let your gaze be on the goal. Don't be distracted. Don't listen to the noise of the market. Be consistent. Slow and steady, they say, wins the race. If you need to fly, fly. If you cannot fly, keep running. If you cannot run, keep walking. If you cannot walk, keep crawling. But by all means, keep moving. Thank you very much.
Wow. If you don't have goose pimples after this episode, then you're the locked in. KK, you wanted to say something?
I was just thanking Mr. Lushola for that. That was powerful.
Yeah.
Thank
I
you
was
too,
also saying
ma'am.
that if you don't have those pimples after this episode, then you need to go for a checkup. You're due for a medical checkup. That was on the side. All right. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Olushola Olumide. Thank you, KK Okeinfo for joining. Thank you, Ultimator, for being a part of the show. Thank you, everyone who's listening in, who's joining us from wherever you're joining us. Thank you for being here. This is the Good Morning Education Show, and we always make sure that on this show we learn together, we share together because we want to grow together. And we'll be here same time as, of course, next week. You'll find us Mondays to Fridays, 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. West African time, and on the weekend special Saturday and Sundays. And that's it. That's all we can take. We're going to end the show our usual way. And we believe that it's also not just a truth statement for us, but it should be a truth reality for you. So on that note, we're counting to 2 to say our goodbyes. 1, 2, go. It is
It's
always
always a good
great.
morning on a Good Morning Education Show.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye.